Should you invest in emerging markets and international ETFs? I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons, why I'm not really such a big fan, but I'm also going to show you some investments that I am kind of interested in that are overseas in a little bit. But first, let's talk about why I'm not such a big fan of international and emerging market funds. I know this is a long video, it's over 6 minutes, but people who say, hey, I want to get really, really rich one day, and then when I say, well, here's this video, and they go, well, it's too long, then you're not going to get rich. So save this video, come back and watch it later when you got 6 minutes, and learn and start researching. And diversify is never a bad word, but sometimes it is a little bit concerning when some of these funds are already up massively. You don't want to be stuck being the bag holder buying all the way at the top. Generally, these kinds of funds underperform United States-based investments dramatically. So if you look at some of the emerging markets or international ETFs, their 10-year growth is like 10, 15, 20% historically. That's really, really bad. Take, for example, an S&P 500 ETF that's up around, or index fund that's up around 200%, a technology-based ETF that's around up 500% over a decade. And then you look at some of the emerging market funds or international funds, and it's just embarrassingly bad performance. Until this last year, because in a way, because of Donald Trump and his endless talk about trade wars and tariffs. What does that do? Think about all these emerging markets and companies that are based overseas, in countries overseas. They export a lot of their stuff here to the United States and we buy it. But if Donald Trump is saying 100% tariff, 50% tariff, 30% tariff, and he's tariff, and there's a trade war, what do these countries do? And the companies within those countries, they say, all right, we're not going to be exporting our products overseas anymore. We're going to keep them here. And that benefits their local economy, their country, and their stock market and their stocks. So that's why, if you look, and I'm going to show you in a second, some of the emerging markets and international ETFs, this year, the performance is up dramatically. But long term, it just doesn't do it for me. Now, whenever I say the S&P 500 is a perfect diverse ETF, a lot of people say, well, those are just US-based companies. Except that those US-based companies generate a lot of their income from overseas. A lot of that revenue comes from, in fact, there's about 500 companies on the S&P 500. About 480 of them have international exposure. Think about like your utility company. Well, that's focused right here on US-based consumers. Something like waste management, they pick up garbage. That's relatively a US-based thing. There are companies that are US-based and they serve US people almost entirely. But a lot of the companies outside of that, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Meta, that's Facebook, Nvidia, Apple, a lot of these companies have international exposure. Coca-Cola isn't just a US-based company. And some of the bigger names, like the Coca-Colas, the Apples, the Nvidias, generate 50% of their revenue or more from international consumers. So you're getting that international exposure. However, short term, some of these international funds have done well. I'm still, like, you're going to look at some of these in a minute, and you're going to say, oh man, the 1 year performance is up huge. It makes me feel like the growth is already priced in. And with someone like Donald Trump at the helm, I don't really trust what he's doing. I don't think anything that he does is going to work. So these trade wars, we might see all of this collapse in a year or two, and all of these emerging markets funds that have done so well, you might become the bag holder. In other words, buying all the way up here, and then the trade war falls through, or we reach some sort of agreement, or nothing ever happens, and then all those emerging market funds go back down in value, and you bought at the top, and now you're the bag holder. All right, let's take a look at a few of them. And I'm going to show you some that I like. So VXUS is one of the more popular total international stock index fund ETF. And you can see that the expense ratio is very, very low. It has like an okay 2.7% dividend. But look at the 1 year, year-to-date performance, up 28%. 28% year-to-date. But over the last 10 years, that's only up 60%. That's not very good. Take a look at EEM. It is an emerging markets ETF. And over the last 10 years, it is only up 57%. And year to date, it's up 33%. So the majority of this 10-year growth is basically coming from this year. I do think, though, that there are a couple of sectors that are of interest to me that are global. And they are rare earths. As you've heard, Donald Trump is very, very insistent on this being some sort of deal with China, with our trade deal, that we get access to these rare earth metals. And China's artificial intelligence, I think, will probably surpass ours. So I'm going to show you a rare earth ETF and a Chinese-based technology and artificial intelligence ETF. Now, again, a lot of these have already had their big moves, so they're already priced in. So to go 100% in right now, or even 60% in right now after they've had massive moves, maybe not the smartest, but as a way to diversify and make it a kind of like small speculative part of your portfolio now, and if things pull back, you maybe consider adding more later, is, of course, an option. The first one is the Van Eck Rare Earth and Strategic Metals ETF. This one is up 78% year to date, but in the last decade, it's only up 44%. Now, this ETF invests in only 28 companies, and I heard or I read somewhere that about 30% of the holdings are Chinese-based. The other one is 100% Chinese-based. This is China's version of QQQ. CQQQ, obviously China QQQ, is a Chinese technology ETF. Their year-to-date gain is 47%, and in the last 10 years, it's up 59%. Let me know your take on international and emerging market ETFs in the comments below. See you later.